Ooh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then, man, this looking like it's over. Looking like it's over for Dallas.
Oh, it's a wrap. It's 3-0. I mean, why play game 4? Why play any more after that, bro? Like
it's never been done. I mean, they say it can be done, but it's never been done before. So
is this the worst finals? Oh damn, the ticker ain't even start yet, man. My bad.
Time ain't moving yet.
It's all good. We gonna get there. We gonna get there, man. It's that time of the week, man. It's that time of the week. You already know, man.
This might be the worst NBA playoffs in history. Period.
But man, it's one of the worst, man. It's one of the worst. This finals is trash. This fool's probably about to get swept. You know, we'll see if they put up a fight this last game, but I don't know.
Ooh, you know what? I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna save it for right when we start the show. I was gonna say something. This is gonna be a hot take about if you're a Laker fan, you might not like this. But hey, don't forget to clock in, like the thumbs. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff, man. Hey, man, here we go.
Great Pharaoh, the gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
One of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, just shot a few of my ships down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow, my cloaking devices just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. That's why I can roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, but now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas. You wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause your mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scrambled they spy drones.
That voice is speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history.
I can't explain it.
What's good? What's good? What's good? Hey, man, it's that time, man. It's that time of the week, man. Welcome to Around the Shield, man. Shout out to everybody pulling up, man. Hey, man, it's my guy, Big Mike Raider. It's my guy, Severe Raider, man. It's that time of the week, man. You know, we're going to chop it up, man. There's a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about. Obviously, Raiders minicamp. Man, the Madden cover. I didn't get that. Man, you know what? Like, I didn't really get it. And a lot of coaches spoke this week. A lot of assistant coaches and players, man. They had a lot of good things to say. Shout out Rob Ryan, man. That dude is probably one of the most positive people out there.
Man.
But how's everybody doing, man? What's up, Mike? What's going on with you?
Man, I'm doing good. Just had a pretty good dinner. Doing a little bit of carnivore diet, a little bit.
Okay.
I had a steak. Yeah, I had a steak. Then I made like a cilantro, lime, like cream sauce that goes with it. So it's not really like a carnivore, more like keto, because I added like Greek yogurt and some other stuff. So good dinner, man. You know, trying to get it right. Still on the road to getting to shrinking up a little bit more, man. But I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
That's cool, man. And you know, when you said carnivore diet, man, I don't know why I thought about Joe Rogan and how he always talks about what's the meat that he's like he vouches
like
for
liver.
Nah, it's like a certain.
Or is it elk?
It's elk meat. Like,
yeah,
he lives by it. He always talks about it all the time, man. Like it's one of the, you know, I don't know how that's gonna taste. Never had it. You know what I mean? I'm a very simple man. You know what I mean? When it comes when it comes to meats and stuff like that. But what's going on, Severe, man? What's up with you, bro? How you been?
Oh man, same old, man. It's at my son's football practice today. He had 2 touchdowns today, man. His first 2 touchdowns, man. So he was excited, man. So
hey, man,
getting them right early.
First of many, bro.
Man,
first of many.
Getting them right early, man.
What position he play? What position he play?
So they're little kids right now, man. So right now it's just, you know, they're playing throw up football, basically. You know, throw up tackles. You know, that's basically it. But
he's out there dominating. He's out there.
I didn't say dominating, but he's doing well. He's the only 4-year-old. He's only 4-year-old out there, man. So you know.
Okay.
So he's hanging with the big boys, man. It's a lot of second-year guys out there. So he'll be a year 2 guy next year. This is his first time playing football organized. So he's loving it though, man. He's loving it. He was excited, man.
You got me. You got something that just popped in my head right now. You were mentioning youth football. I don't know if you saw that clip with Marshawn Lynch, where it was like a parent.
It's old.
It was like some mom.
It's an old clip.
It's an old clip. Well, I guess it just surfaced recently. Here's my advice, man. If you can, have the men take the kids to the football practice, because that kind of stuff doesn't need to happen. You know, let the coaches coach. Let them be coached. You know, if he's getting yelled at, you being cussed out, there's a reason for it, and it builds character. Let the man coach. That's all I got to say about that one, man.
Man, right. I would say this, man, but I'll say this, man. I'm out there with the with the coaches, and I'm like, usually I'm like when the only dads out there. Hey, these moms are here. These moms be getting that after these kids, like, man, worse than the coaches. The coaches have to be like, dang, like chill, like they be getting after these kids. So I mean, like, Yeah, I'm with that too. That's what I'm saying, man. That's character building right there, man. So, you know, and like you said, like these guys they're gonna grow up and be men. So you know, you gotta. It's a certain amount of toughness they have to build. They have to start at an early age, man. So you know, like the first thing I told the coach, like, hey, you know what? Like this my kid. Get after him. He mess up, get on him, stay on him, tough. Like, you know, ain't gonna be no excuses over here. So, and his first few practices, he was like, "Yo, man, like, I made him keep going, and now he loves it. At first, he didn't want to get out there and mix it up. Now he's like, man, I want to tackle everybody. I want to score touchdowns. Like now he's after it. But if I would have just been like, oh, you know what, you don't have to do this if you don't want to do it, and like, okay, you can just give up. Like, you know, he would have never discovered that love for it because, you know, at first it was hard and it was like, oh, you know what, I'm new to this. I've never done it before. All these other kids, they're older than me. A lot of them played last year, so they're better than me already. But now he's out there. He's like, man, like I'm trying to, you know, he's like, I'm trying to juke everybody. That's what he's like. He want to juke everybody. He want to do like Fortnite dances. Like he want to do Fortnite. Like he's like, all right, bro, like you can do a dance after you score. That's what I told him. Like if you score a touchdown, you can dance. He's like, can I dance on a tackle somebody? Like you can know. It's like you score a touchdown, you can dance. And so we was coming back home. He's like, dang, Dad, I scored. I forgot to do my dance. I was like, don't worry about it, man. You'll score again.
That's funny. That's funny. But I actually got the clip that Big Mike was talking about. It's an older clip, but point taken from Mike. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like football is a very aggressive, physical sport. There's gonna be some tough love in there. You know what I mean? There's gonna be some things that probably mothers don't want to see. You know what I mean? But I'm just gonna go ahead and pull up the clip right here, and y'all could check it out real quick. Let's see here. So here's a clip of Marshawn at his youth football camp, and I guess one of the mothers wasn't happy with how her son was getting coached.
Hey, Dad, maybe you should just let him know because they're all in tears.
Oh man, let me.
I do. I cuss a lot. I cuss in front of them. So look, I cuss a lot.
Every one of them's
all right, that's okay. No, my son's in jail. It's not okay. Is there a man here with you?
Good question.
Is not a man here with you?
But I'm here. What does that matter?
Because
my son is leaving. I don't care. It's my son.
So tell them
Did you walk here too? They all said
but I'll tell them that if they're not doing what they need to do, then yes, there's consequences to that.
Yeah.
If it takes that amount of time for when I tell a kid to do something and they're not doing what they're supposed to do, then there is consequences. Like push-ups, like running laps,
like telling them to get away from your drill.
Like telling them to get out of my drill if they're not participating, doing right, get the out of my drill, get the out of my drill, or whatever it takes to get my drill.
Hey, Dad, maybe you should just let them know. They're all in tears.
So that was pretty much the clip that resurfaced, but this was like a few years back. I'm not sure when exactly. So I've seen it before. Severe, have you seen it before?
Nah, I've never seen that before. But I mean, like, look, man, like I don't want to. I ain't trying to get us in trouble, man. But I will say, I will say this, man. I will say this because there's so much. There's so much I can go to it. There's so many different dynamics there. It's on
right.
So many. But I look, I'm gonna leave that over there. I will say this though, like anytime we see a kid or the coaches see a kid crying, first thing he says, the whole team says it. No baby what? And the whole team says ball. No baby ball out here. You ain't no babies out here. You're a young man, so it ain't gonna be no crying. And if you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, yo, like man, just the other day they ran these kids into the ground. One of the kids was like, I have asthma. He's like, it's okay. This coach right here, he's an EMT, so you'll be just fine. Like, ain't no, you can't start blaming these kids now because if you start giving them outs or, if something gets tough, it's like, okay, well, it's okay. It's too hard for you. Like, bro, ain't nobody finna rent is hard, bro. Ain't nobody finna be like, all right, you know what? You don't got to pay rent this month because, hey, you started crying. Like, no, nobody care about that. So you gotta build that in. You gotta build that into them now, and they gotta understand there's consequences for their actions. If you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, like they ended practice today with 30 up downs, and it's supposed to only be 10 They wasn't doing the up downs right, so it got stretched to 20. They wasn't doing the up down right still, so it got stretched to 30. They would still be out there doing up downs if the park wasn't going to close. So like
Right.
you got to learn right now. There for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, and for your actions, there are consequences, whether they'll be good, bad, or indifferent. But everything you do, there's a consequence for it. So those lessons you got to learn now. So don't be you ain't doing and if you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. I'm gonna tell man, get the F out of my drill, like bro, like
straight up. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Just not to be too political, right? I don't want to get political or get us in trouble, but there are people who, legislators and things like that that's trying to take youth football out of the state of California, and that is ill-advised. That should not ever happen. That's probably one of the worst things you can do for this youth, particularly young men. If I'm a stand for anything politically, I'm a stand for one thing. Let's take care of our children. Let's take care of our young men and keep youth football, because that's what builds character, and that's what builds these young men, these kids to be young men later on. So keep the youth football, man. Let's keep it alive, man. That's all I got to say about that one.
Yeah, that's terrible, man. Now, you're taking out a sport activity for younger people to go. You know what I mean? That's gonna. What do you think is going to happen when you do something like that? I mean, obviously there's other sports, but not everybody's going to want to play those other sports. So you're going to give them. Right. I don't know, man. I don't think that's a good idea, man. I don't think that's a good idea.
And it's crazy. It's crazy, man. One of the moms today was just talking about like, since my son started playing, like he's night and day different. Way more responsible, way more accountable, all that stuff. Like, and that's what they breed in them. Like, that's what they breed in these kids. Like, one of the kids was out there, he didn't have his jacket. He's like, oh, when I didn't bring my jacket. And the coach asked him straight up, like, whose jacket is it? Like, is it your jacket or your mom's jacket? He's like, well, my mom left it in the car. He's like, I'm gonna ask you again. Is it your jacket or your mom's jacket? He's like, well, it's my jacket. Well, then he's like, then you should have brought it. Like, bro, that's key teaching a 5-6-year-old, yo, you're accountable for your stuff. If you know this ain't the first practice, it gets cold out here. If you didn't bring your jacket, that's on you. Stop depending on other people to do or handle your stuff. Like, teaching them lessons now. And it's not like, not a big lesson, but that's something that's going to stick with them. Like, dang, you know what? He's absolutely right. This is my jacket. On game day, like, what if you show up and didn't bring your helmet? You're gonna be like, oh, well, my mom didn't bring. Like, no, bro, that's your helmet, that's your uniform. Yeah. Like, so at the end of the day, you're responsible for that. Even at 5 or 6 year old, like that, and that's what organized sports. It teaches all that stuff, man. So for them to try to take that stuff away, bro, I mean, like that's part of the problem right now, man. Part of the problem right now in this country.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, we could talk about this. It's a heavy topic, and I know we can get into it a little bit more, but we gonna save that for the barbershop, man. We gonna save that for the barbershop,
man.
But,
that's right.
That's gonna be a Patreon conversation one day.
Man, that's
it's gonna be behind a paywall
for sure, facts. Man. Because she was walking up on him like. Man, man. But hey, look, it is what it is. I did want to say this before we went live, right? Before we started the show, we were talking about the Mavs and the Mavs and the Celtics, and we're talking about how bad of a series it was. And I was thinking, like, man, what was some boring NBA finals? I was thinking in my head.
Oh man,
the Pistons. Was it the Pistons and the Spurs?
That was bad. Spurs, it was like first to 80 wins.
Spurs and Cavs, you know what I mean? Spurs and Cavs.
That was bad.
Obviously Spurs and Pistons. But there was a good game in there. I think there was a good game in that Spurs and Pistons. I'm not gonna lie, they're not two exciting teams because they're not like super. They didn't really have superstars like that. I mean, Tim Duncan, but we all know Tim Duncan is like one of the most boring, all-time great, but one of the most boring superstars out there. I'm not gonna lie, the Lakers Celtics series. I'm just
not the second. The second
one we won. I love that one.
I love that we won. But if I was just really looking at it, man, was this an exciting series?
Nasty. It was 7 games though. It went 7 games. It was nasty. Like this is gonna be a sweep, bro.
That game 7 was disgusting. Kobe was like 5.
Kobe was horrible.
Yeah, Kobe was bad.
Kobe was horrible that night.
A metal world piece. Bailed us out.
And as good as a player as Ron Artest is, he's an ugly player to watch. Like as far as like his game, it's hella like it's just not. It's like robotic. It's just
Ron Artest. I think I've made this kind of point before. I don't know if I made it on live, but Ron Artest, like if a football player was playing basketball, that's how it would look. It would look like Ron Artest.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Hey, but who do y'all think is gonna win the next game? Do you think the Mavs gonna win at least one game?
Gentleman's sweep.
Go ahead, Mike.
Gentleman's sweep. Yeah,
I'm thinking
5 games.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. It's. I think the Mavs aren't so bad where they won't win at least one. I think because this is gonna be the game where like they're gonna be like, oh my god, like if we don't win this game, like it's a wrap for us. So I think they're gonna come out and like balls to the wall, everything they got and win this game. But I think the very next game,
Nah, they getting swept.
It's just a wrap after that.
They getting swept.
Like
they getting swept because just because like they're just, the Celtics are just a better team. Like when you like literally, this game was supposed to be their best shot right here. Like this was their best shot. They almost won game 2. I think the dagger was game 2 because it was close at the end. Yeah, and then. Dude, he missed that dunk, or you could have argued that it was a missed foul call, whatever the case may be. But I'm just saying, man, like I after that game 2, that was a dagger, and then they were down like what? How many? They were down 20-something points in the fourth quarter at home.
Boston team benefiting from a missed call? No, never.
In Boston, but my point is that at the end of the day, like they were down 20 in the fourth quarter at home. I mean, they were able to come back a little bit, but. Yeah, it is what it is, man. I think it's done, man. They're gonna celebrate that championship in Dallas. In Dallas, man. I hate to see it, but the Celtics are gonna win the championship, man. What do they got? Man. They're at like 19, 18?
18. This will be 18. Yeah, it'll be 18.
See, when you're a fan of the Lakers, you start looking at the titles, and that's how you get competitive. Like, man, like
exactly, they got 18.
I think the Lakers got 17, or they're at 18.
Lakers got 17.
They got 17.
But the Celtics got 18, but 11 of them came like with Bill Russell got 11.
Yeah, with like 8 NBA teams, like with 8 NBA teams, like that's crazy.
Yeah, they were playing the mailman and the milkman and plumber, like bro, like they don't count, bro.
The talent wasn't as good as it is these days. But that being said, man, we know why y'all here, man. We just wanted to get into the show smoothly, and let's get into the Raiders, man. Hey, look, just the other day, before we get into minicamp, man, I don't know if you guys heard about the Madden cover. Christian McCaffrey was announced as the Madden cover guy. You know what I mean? Like these days, that's like a big thing. You know what I mean? For everybody that grew up on Madden and stuff like that. But you know what's funny? Like they're all excited to be on the cover, but I don't know, man. I believe in the Madden curse.
Yeah,
I believe in the Madden. Like it's too big of a coincidence that every player that's been on that cover literally gets hurt that year. There's only been like maybe one player that was able to like overcome it. I don't know. It might have been Adrian Peterson. But we all know Adrian Peterson is like a lock Hall of Famer at running back. But the big news is, and why it connects to the Raiders, is that on the cover, there are some Raider players, and the game never happened. Like they actually made up that whole cover to put the Raiders on there, and I hope whatever curse. I'm just hoping. I'm knocking on wood. I ain't want to bring it up, but like I just don't want nothing to be connected to the Raiders in a bad way, because they had to put them on the cover for whatever reason. I guess because the Niners and Raiders, obviously we had that Bay Area, that Northern California rivalry, but it is what it is. What are your thoughts on that, man? What do you think about like the Raiders players being included on the cover on a game that never happened? Do y'all see that? Do y'all feel like that's weird?
I'm really sick and tired of the NFL, the media, EA Sports, everybody, all the above, pimping us out for their popularity. They always got to put our our colors. They always got to put our shield. They always got to put something on us to build the talking, the traffic, the social media, the clicks. Like, it's getting old now. And if this team is taking anything personally, they need to take a lot of this personally, because there has been in the history of the Madden cover, I can't think of of another cover where they had another team on it and the headlining player chasing down, chasing down the headlining player from another team. When has that ever happened in the history of Madden covers? Like, they choose the Raiders to do it, like, and it's not even real too. We don't even play the 49ers this year. I mean, we play them in the preseason, but Christian McCaffrey isn't playing in the preseason. So that scenario will never happen. Not this season, at least. So, like, to me, it just seems like it's getting old now. The Raiders really need to turn this around, because we're being a punchline. It's like almost like we're a punchline to the entire league, social media, the actual media, EA Sports. Everybody is using us as the punchline, and it's getting old. And I'm sick and tired of it, man.
Yeah. No, I agree. And the crazy thing is, it doesn't just happen in that arena. Like, the Raiders get used in everything. Like, man, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, there's some content creators out here, man. Like, are you a Raider fan?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Like, nah, I just want the clicks.
Yeah,
man. I'm like, you're a so fan. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. It is what it is, man. They put it in the work. It's all good. I'm not really mad at it, but it is kind of interesting. But what I'm saying is, my point is that people are capitalizing on the Raiders because the Raiders are a brand. They're a big time brand. But what were your thoughts on it, Severe, as far as the Madden cover and the Raiders being included for, I guess, I don't know, for trying to capitalize on the Raiders brand?
Yeah, man. Like, they could have, used, like, they just played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like, they could have used the Chiefs. They could have used the Cowboys. It was another big franchise, right? They could have used any of these teams, and they chose the Raiders. And what pisses me off is that I want to say this is the 25th year of Madden. In 25 years, only one Raider has been on a Madden cover. Anyone know who that is?
John Madden.
Exactly. John Madden is the only Raider to appear on a John Madden cover. And so, like, that shows you right there, man. Like, we're not getting the respect we deserve around the league. So now, hey, we got to go out there. We got to demand that respect. So that's what I'm hoping happens this year. Hey, maybe next year we get a Brock Bowers or get a Michael Mayer on the cover, or or Max Crosby. I don't know how many.
I can see Max on it.
I don't know how many times, because I think there's only been one defensive player, I want to say, that got it. I want to say it was Troy Polamalu. There's been two.
Yeah,
I know
Ray
Troy
Lewis.
Polamalu.
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis. Yeah, Ray Lewis. I remember Ray Lewis. Yeah, so Troy and Ray Lewis. So hopefully
Aaron Donald wasn't on it ever?
No.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. No, I don't believe so.
He should have been.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Been on there at least one time.
Yeah.
Like,
I think Pat Mahomes has been on there twice. Yeah, Pat Mahomes been on there twice. He was on there by himself, and he was on there with Tom Brady that year.
Yep.
I think Pat Mahomes might be the only person to, like, truly break the Madden curse. I want to say he was on there, then he won the Super Bowl.
right.
So I think he's
okay.
I think he's the only real person to break the Madden curse. Josh Allen was on there last year, but we all know what happened with them. I think Lamar Jackson was on there. Did Lamar Jackson win the MVP that year? Or he was on there the year after he won the MVP? But the only person to really win the ultimate prize is Pat Mahomes. So, man, like you said, man, it's getting old, man. It's really getting old, and from what I'm hearing, man, like, this team is locked in. So, it's about time we go out there and we demand our respect. We take it, and we put the whole league on notice and let them know it is a new day. And it is a new time. It's a new era, and we will get back to where we once were, being one of the best franchises, one of the most feared franchises in all of sports, not just the NFL.
Nah, facts, man. So I guess we're gonna segue into it, man. Raiders Minicamp is underway and almost done. It literally it's a 3-day mini camp. So, and from what we're hearing some good things. We're hearing some concerning things, but I'm not too concerned because it's early. Defense, man, they off to a fast start, but it makes sense. We talked about it. Third year in this defense. Obviously, they the way they finished out the season last season, top 10 in points allowed at 19 a game, and if you really broke it down, since AP took over as a head coach until the end of the season, they only allowed 16 points per game, which, man, that's in today's NFL, that's dominating, in my opinion. So, and it's going to be a lot of familiar faces, a lot of returning players. And we heard from Max Crosby day one, and I believe Jacoby Myers, and obviously some of the coaches that were able to talk. Man, Rob, I shouted him out earlier in the show. Man, Rob Ryan was, man, dude. Hey, man, if y'all don't really check out interviews like that, go ahead and check out the presser for Rob Ryan. Man, that dude, man, you're gonna get hyped up listening to Rob Ryan, and he was giving high praise to everybody on the team, and it wasn't just like. It wasn't like high praise where he was just saying some generic stuff. Like, he was actually going into detail, saying specific things about, like, I think he said something about Mike Epps, Mike Epps and
Marcus Epps.
Marcus
Epps.
Like
Mike Epps.
I knew when I said it, I was like,
I just shook my head too. Like, Mike Epps. Yep.
He was like, yeah, man, Mike Epps. He was great in he was great in next Friday. Like,
hey, man, I got Mike though. Mike for sure. I got Mike, man. So Severe was like, huh?
Yeah, it's like
it just sounded right, bro.
Mike Epps, right?
Hey, man, but he said he had a lot of good things to say, man. He said Max Crosby, best player he's seen in the last 30 years, which is crazy. Yeah, because he's been around for a while, so he's seen some good ones. So. But let's actually we have some clips too. So let's go ahead and let's play some clips from the coaches and some of the players. I think it's mostly coaches, right? I think it was mostly coaches.
We got one from a couple from Nate Hobbs, but the rest are coaches.
Okay. Well, before we get into it, let me just give everybody like just an idea of what's going on, who's participating, who didn't make it. Let's see if I could post this real quick so people can see. Boom, boom, boom. All right, as you can see, let me see if I could blow this up a little bit better so everybody can see exactly what's on the screen. So Raiders had 86 players participate in day 2 of mandatory minicamp. Wednesday, 5 players missed practice. Cole Miller, guard Jake Joning, defensive tackle Matthew Butler, defensive end Ellerson Smith, and linebacker Darian Butler. Man, Darian Butler has been... He's been missing a big chunk of the offseason, so man, it's gonna be tough for him. As let's see. Okay, so pretty much that everybody that's pretty good as far as attendance. That's not too bad. Right. That's not too bad.
Because one name we didn't see on there that we missed was a very important pick in this year's draft.
Yep, Jackson Powers Johnson.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So having him back out there is huge.
Yeah, and it says here that Andres Pete filled in at left tackle for Colton Miller, and Matthew Butler not being there. That's gonna be tough for him too as well, because I know there's some competition up there too as well. So it's like, and he got cut last year too. So So this is big for some of these players that are missing this early. But for the most part, 86 players showed up. That's pretty good attendance for minicamp. As far as the quarterbacks, from what we've seen and from what we heard, I mean, obviously we weren't there to see what AOC and Minshew have been doing, but it seems like the defense right now is ahead.
Yeah,
defense is ahead.
Yeah,
I think day 2 was a little bit better than day 1 for Aiden O'Connor and Minshew, but obviously I think they were reported to throw picks to the 7th round rookie and I'm forgetting the name. Severe, you probably know this from the top of your dome.
MJ Devonshire.
And then Minshew threw an interception to Jacorian Bennett.
Right.
So, yeah, man. And Hey, look, like right now, this is early in the off season, so we're not going to be stressing over too much. But hopefully by training camp, we start hearing and seeing that the offense is caught up a little bit, because hearing from what Davante Adams is saying, he knows like 90% of that playbook.
Yeah.
And he's literally like a second coach on the football field. He's helping out the players. So right now they're still kind of like learning as they go and learning this offense. But I was a little bit concerned about what they were saying about, the deep ball accuracy from the quarterbacks was not there. I'm like, oh man, that was big, because I felt like last year teams were cheating on AOC, and they were daring him to throw it deep. So hopefully that's not going to be an issue in this offense, especially we have all these weapons that can really, that could really wreck a offensive game plan if you're not able to at least complete one of those deep balls. I mean, Mike, it sounds like you got something to say.
Yeah. I'll say after this third day, take a week off, kind of shake it off, kind of assess what was going on, go over things. And then right after that week's done, I want Aiden O'Connell, I want Gardner Minshew to get with Davante Adams, and they learn this offense. They need to do this. They need to do the extra work. They need to put in the extra due diligence to make this happen. Because I understand that the defense is going to be well ahead of the offense at this point of the season, but training camp is going to be here quicker than you know it. We got probably about 6 to 8 weeks until training camp hits, and these guys need to be ready. So, these quarterbacks need to be getting into in picking the brain of Davante Adams, being alongside the coach if it's permittable to do so, and they need to learn the ins and outs of this offense, put in the extra work, because the defense is playoff ready. They're championship ready, the way it sounds like. So what we need from this offense is to not make mistakes. That's what we need. And whatever Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew has to do to better the offense, they need to go ahead and do it on their free time at this point.
Let me ask you this, Severe. Do you think the accuracy of the quarterback can be affected by them not fully understanding the playbook?
Yes and no, because it some of it, like part of accuracy is timing. So that's part of it. But, still that there's the other aspect of it where, like, can you get the ball where it's supposed to go when it's supposed to be there? So like part of that, like they should have some, like there's gonna be issues with them making reads. Like that's understandable, right? So that can affect when you pull the trigger, if you're not, you have some uncertainty, that kind of stuff. Especially if the defense, I mean, we already hear how the defense is. They're basically just like making it their mission to make things as difficult as possible for the offense. But at the end of the day, like, if a guy is open, it's on you to deliver the ball there. So if you're not getting the ball there, that's on the quarterbacks. And from what we've been hearing, both guys have kind of struggled. And neither guy has really separated himself. I know, like we were hearing some feel good stuff early on, where it's like, oh, you know what, it's basically kind of AOC's job to lose. But now we're kind of, some other reports are coming in where it's like, what, neither guy has really impressed, and neither guy has really separated themselves. So as Mike said, man, it's time for these guys to, and they shouldn't rely on the coaches, right? They've had several days of OTAs, a few days of mini camp. They've had the playbook for, God knows how long. At this point, bro, get in your playbook, get this offense down pat, get these receivers together on your free time, get this timing down, and go out there and execute, man. You guys are professionals at this point, especially a guy like Gardner. He's been in the league long enough. But AOC too, man. AOC he's not some young. He's 26 years old. You're not no baby, bro. Get out there and do what you need to do, because at this point, it's been a long time since we had a defense this good, or that we think will be this good, and we don't want to waste it with with bad quarterback play, because the weapons are there. We invested. When I thought we should have gone defense, we invested in another weapon in Brock Bowers, who some people thought may be just the best pure weapon in this draft. And then we got a guy in Michael Mayer who was apparently just been killing everybody on the practice field. You already got Devontae. You got Jacoby, who was a low end number 1 receiver, one of the best number 2s in the league. So the weapons are there, bro. So it's if this offense sputters, it's going to be, I think people are going to probably point the blame at Luke Getsy, but I'm pointing the blame to whoever is under center, whether that be Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah.
No,
you know what? Can I play devil's advocate? Because I want to do the flip side of that, right? There is that other side to where you can make the argument that the offense isn't doing great because the defense is so good. You could also say that too, and that's just me giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm hoping that is more of that than what we're all suspecting it is, and that's poor quarterback play and them not, getting the grasp of the offense and them having to figure this out now before it's too late. I'm hoping that it's the defense causing all this confusion, all this, panic or whatever's going on with the offense. I'm hoping that it's more of the defense doing that to the offense than the ability of the quarterback not being able to process, not being able to figure out what's going on in the offense.
I think it's a combination of both. I think it's a combination of both.
And generally around this time, defenses are usually ahead of offense because, as I said before, offense, so much of that is timing and being on rhythm with guys, and then understanding what guys will do in certain situations, especially if your offense have option routes and stuff like that. So a lot of that has a lot to do with it. And then also this defense has been in the same defense for 3 years. They're returning like 10 of the 11 starters from last year, and then you add possibly the best defensive tackle in the league, and who I heard was like the MVP of day one, which is out there just destroying everybody they put in front of them. So that has a lot to do with it. But at the end of the day, like, if your receiver is open, bro, you got to get him the ball. Like that's fact, right. If you're not throwing accurate passes, man, then that at the end of the day but what Mike said is definitely true. Definitely true.
Yeah, like I think it's a combination of both. I think that the defense right now is ahead of the offense. It's not even. I don't think it's close. Hearing Max Crosby, disrupting the play, and then right after he made a big time play, Christian Wilkins is making a big time play, and then you hear Max talking about Wilkins, comparing him to, not that like they're the same type of player, but like the chemistry that they both had. He was talking about Unique. Like, last time he played with a Unique, and it felt like Max and Unique had a really close bond. They were really cool with each other, and he said like him and Unique used to always compete against each other. Who can make the most plays? So, hey man, when your D line is competing not against the other team, but they're competing with each other. So, I think that's the possibilities are endless when it comes to the defense. When you got players over there competing against each other, so they can who's going to come up with the most plays? Because I feel like it's a win-win at the end of the day. Because whoever's making plays it's gonna equal to game-winning plays. It's gonna equal into wins eventually, and we hope that happens. But I think right now, the defense is ahead. Offense needs to catch up. It sounds like Davante Adams is doing his part on helping the players on offense figuring out this offense. I thought it was interesting though. Davante Adams, talking about Brock Bowers and how he said like his conversations with him were like, man, I haven't said a joke to him that he laughed at, and like he gave him a nickname. He called him the businessman. Like dude's all business. He's super serious. So what do you think of those comments of Davante Adams talking about Brock Bowers? Do you take that as like maybe that's his personality, or is it how do you take that from Davante Adams talking about Brock Bowers, Mike?
I see it more of like a compliment. Like this guy, like he's saying, like, man, this guy's just about his business, and he wants to win. He wants to contribute, and he's on a mission. I didn't see it as him like trying to clown the dude. Like, of course, that's not the case. Devontae Adams isn't like that, you know. I think it was more of a compliment, saying that this guy is very professional. He's approaching the game in a way that it should be approached, and he's showing like, maturity from a rookie. That's pretty much how I translated it, and I think it's a good start. I think it's a good start for him.
Yeah. I just keep thinking about like how that when they got drafted and the cameras went to his family and everybody that was there, and you just seen his pops just like he congratulated, but then he couldn't hold it in. He looked pissed. He looked pissed, but yeah, man, it is what it is. We're probably looking into it too much, but there were some coaches that spoke that we have some clips that we're gonna look at. I think Cadillac Williams, James Craig, and obviously Rob Ryan, and there's some noteworthy clips here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put up the first one here. Let's see. Let's take a look. Man, I thought I had it up. My bad, y'all.
Yeah, I will say this: when Devontae was talking about Brock Byers, he's like, "Yeah, I call him BM," and I was like, "Huh?" And he's like, he's like, "Oh yeah, the businessman." And I was like, "Oh, okay." It's like,
you gotta explain with that.
Look, bro, you gotta clear that up, man. You're calling a grown man BM. I'm like, nah, dog.
Yeah, that wasn't an original nickname for sure. Like that was like he's trying to have it stick. Like, oh, that because he tried to tell everybody like, oh yeah, that's gonna be his nickname from now on, the businessman. But
the businessman.
I don't know.
And they can be like,
but I get what he's trying to say. I get what he's trying to say. He's all business.
If that's the like, that's not like the marketing team is gonna be like, what the hell are we gonna do with this, man?
What the hell is this?
Throw that in the trash.
Man. But so I'm gonna play this clip here. We're gonna lead off with actually Nate Hobbs. So this is a clip here. We're gonna talk. Nate Hobbs was able to talk to the media too.
Call him the Hobgoblin, huh, guys?
Oh, man, come on, bro.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Hobgoblin.
Like it's like if we called the show, instead of Around the Shield, we call it the podcast.
Exactly, right.
The Raiders podcast. Like, come on, bro. A little bit more originality, just a little bit more, Come on,
put a little seasoning on that one, bro.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. But here we go with Nate Hobbs. Let's go ahead and play this clip, man. Let's hear what he had to say.
I guess the other guy in this mix is Brandon. What's Brandon bring to the squad?
Brandon Faison? Yeah. Big face, I think the sky's the limit for him. I feel like people forget my rookie year in 2021, how he started the last half of the season and went man for man with every receiver who was a top-ranked receiver and shut him down, essentially. Like, once he gets in his bag, he's hard to stop. And he makes it very hard on the opposing team, you know what I'm saying? He's just a physical specimen, is what I call him. And great dude, too. Great energy, great positivity, you know what I'm saying?
So a lot of high praise coming from Nate Hobbs, talking about Brandon Faison, the cornerback for the Raiders, who was injured last year. Well, obviously, he talked about in 2021 when that was like probably the last time we've seen it healthy with the Raiders, if you really think about it. So he played in that Gus Bradley defense. He's talking about how well he played there to finish out the season. But what are your thoughts on, these comments, Big Mike, as far as, Brandon Faison and what he could possibly contribute to the Raiders? Will he be the starting outside corner?
No, he's not. But I will say this: maybe we have depth, more depth than we thought we did. That is a possibility. But I do want to kind of pick a little bit of what he was saying about in that 2021 season. He was going against the number ones for each team and picking them apart and shutting them down. I would like to see the stats kind of breaking down week by week what he was doing in that 4-week span when they had to win out basically to make the playoffs. Now, I know that defense was They play good enough to win the games. But I don't know if I would necessarily say that Brendan Faison was shutting down guys. But he did play his best football at that time. I know he was putting feet to fire at that point. And what our hopes was at that time, like, hey, maybe we got a guy that is a depth piece in case some guy goes down, and you can throw him in there and he can hold himself. He can hold it down for the most part. Fast forward to now, hey, he could very well be that guy, and on top of Jacorian Bennett having a pretty good mini camp right now so far, maybe we got the depth that maybe we didn't think we need, because a lot of people are talking about, hey, let's bring another corner in. Maybe the team doesn't see that we need to bring another corner in based on what Brandon Faison's bringing to the table with Jacorian Bennett. We got the rookie, we got Nate Hobbs, Jack Jones. Like, maybe they think that they got enough depth to get it done this season.
Yeah. I mean, but just based off the reports of them being interested in Stevie Nelson before he retired, it suggests otherwise. They're looking into the market. Maybe that was their number one target. Maybe there was a guy. Maybe they were waiting for the price tag to go down. Obviously, Stevie Nelson was like, "Yeah, I ain't coming back if y'all gonna pay me this." I just had 5 interceptions last year. Y'all gonna pay me this because it was a lot of teams that were connected to him, and he ended up retiring.
Well, now the next question is based on what we have, is there anybody out there that can kind of exceed what what we already have? Could is there somebody currently out there right now that could put up similar Steven Nelson type of numbers? Now, a lot of people want to say that it's what's his name? Play for the
Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, Gilmore. Say it's Gilmore, right? People think it is Gilmore, but he's older now. He might be on a decline. Maybe he played his best years already. There's a lot of questions regarding that. There's other guys, what's the guy from Adoree Jackson? You could say, him as well. But is he comparable? Is he better than what we already have? So at this point, it's like, do the Raiders even move forward with that type of plan at this point? Because is there anybody else that they can bring in to kind of, I don't know, to take one of these guys' spots to better the team? Or is it just kind of like you're just doing a move for the sake of doing a move? That I guess that's what I'm saying for that one.
Yeah, you know what? Because if you think about it, like, do you think? And I'm gonna get severe involved with this.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, based off what the team sees in minicamp and OTAs, they'll make a decision based off what they see to possibly, like, you know what? Yeah, we can't trust this room full of, like, pretty much young players. I mean, like, you got Jacorian Bennett, second-year player. Brendan Faison, obviously, he's a veteran in there, but he's still young. He's still in his prime. And then the rest of the room, if you think about it, like, you got 2 rookies that were drafted this year. And I might be leaving someone out, but it's a pretty young cornerback room.
Sam Webb, I think, still around.
Sam Webb, but still young player, probably third year in the league.
Yes, I think it's third year. Yeah.
Third year, former undrafted free agent. So, Severe, do you think that the team could possibly come away from OTAs and minicamp and be like, you know what, we need to add another player in there to add some competition?
Yeah, man, I think, as you kind of alluded to, it depends on how these cornerbacks are performing. I think all things being equal, if they had their druthers, Jacorian Bennett would be the starter. He'd put a stranglehold on that job and take it and be the clear guy opposite of Jack Jones. But we saw last year, Jacorian Bennett had good mini camp, had good OTAs, had good training camp, and then he started the regular season, and then it was kind of all downhill from there. So I think Brandon Faison is a guy who was on injured reserve most of the year, and then even when he wasn't eligible to be on injured reserve anymore, they kept him on the roster, and he was essentially just occupying a roster spot for the entire year, like, and not being healthy until the very end of the season. So obviously there's something that they see in him that they like. For a team to do that, because roster spots are extremely valuable. You only get 53 of them. And for them to have a guy essentially not be able to play for an extended period of time and keep him just there and paying him, they must really like his skill set or what he brings to the team. So I think he is a legitimate option as well, opposite of Jack Jones, especially if Jacorian Bennett was to falter. In terms of free agency, I don't see any guys out there right now that will make a huge difference. Dory Jackson would probably be top of the list. It's just in terms of a guy that's still relatively young, and athletic. I think he had some kick return ability too. Previously, I doubt if they have him do that with his injury history. But if it's something that happens in the pinch, he's a guy you could go to. Other than that, man, they might be a situation where we wait till roster cuts and we see who's out there, on the waiver wire, or who's a free agent after that.
Yeah, Adoree would be okay if it's like a low risk, high reward type of deal, meaning like veteran minimum contract.
Yeah.
Because obviously his injury history, I wouldn't be mad at that. But the only reason why I would see the Raiders passing on it, maybe I'm alluding to what Big Mike was saying, was you bring in a veteran to take away snaps from the younger players.
Exactly.
Who could possibly be just as good, if not
exactly.
better. That's probably the only reason why I see that move not happening. But we'll see. But and then we got plenty of clips here from the pressers here. I'm gonna go ahead and get to this second clip by Nate Hobbs and see what he has to say.
From the defensive side of the ball, Nate, what are you seeing from that quarterback competition between Aiden and Gardner right now?
They going at it. They going at it. ALC had a hell of a day today. He was throwing some balls. I forgot, even as a teammate, I forgot he had in him. You know what I'm saying? And I know he got it in him, but he was just making it known again every day, like, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to work for this job. And then Minshew, he got me today on 3rd and long. I know, like what you were saying, I knew they was trying to have on me. Minshew at the top of the drop, gave me a little pump fake, and I broke on it. Most quarterbacks can't do that. They don't have that awareness. They don't have the poise. They don't have the, they just trying to get the ball out 3rd down. He gave me top of the drop, pump, broke on the ball, high low, 1st down. So, and then he pointed at me after. That pissed me off. You know what I'm saying? I done jumped offside the next play in my head. But it's a hell of a, it's going to be down to the wire. But I just think it breeds excellence. You know what I'm saying? Each guy, it's no time for rest. You know what I'm saying? Bring the best out you. You got it.
So there you go, man. Nate Hobbs talking about the quarterback battle right there. He might have been a little bit more positive compared to the beat writers. I'm probably leaning towards the beat writers just because they're just going to give you the unfiltered. They're going to give you more of an unfiltered truth. I'm not going to hear. It would be surprising if Nate Hobbs is like, man, these quarterbacks is trash. Like, it's going to be a long season, man. It's going to be a long season. So he's not going to say anything. But, hey, he kind of described a little bit like AOC and the differences between AOC and maybe a Gardner Minshew. You got a veteran quarterback, a little savvy quarterback, poise. So he talked about that pump fake. And then he talked about AOC and his accuracy and like, oh, man, like I didn't know he had it in him. As far as some of the passes, and one of the biggest things with AOC is his accuracy. So I'm sure that's what he's probably speaking to. But Mike, what do you think of these comments about AOC and Minshew from Nate Hobbs?
So that comment made me believe that it's more of the defense causing trouble for that offense and in their struggles, as reported. That is leaning more towards the defense really like taking over what that offense is trying to do. Now, what you're going to see over, a period of time is that this offense is going to get a couple of plays on a defense. That's what you're hoping for. And, he did mention, Gardner Minshew hitting him with that pump fake and going over, and getting the best of him on with the play. Now, onesie twosies might turn into about a 50-50 battle down, by the time the season progresses. So that's kind of what you're hoping for, right? Like the onesie twosies turn into a iron sharpen iron situation. I'm going to have a little bit of optimism that that's kind of what is forming right now. Just a couple of plays, here and there. Yeah, the offense is probably struggling right now, but those couple of plays over time is going to turn into a few plays, is going to turn into a whole evolution, is going to turn into the offense having a better day than defense, and then the next day you might hear some vice versa, and in the process sharpen each other up. So I'm holding some optimism with that one.
Yeah, and to Mike's point, and I'm gonna pass this to Severe, man. Are they even? Is the defense even respecting the run game in OTAs and minicamp? Like,
that's true.
I mean, yeah. I'm sure they're probably simulating some run plays, but I don't think it's not the same as in a game or when they have pads on and you're running the football where you have to respect it because you got to stop the play. You gotta be on your assignment. So I'm right now. I feel like it just goes back to what we talked about. I feel like the defense is just ahead of the offense, and on top of that, they know that they know that most likely AOC is going to be passing the football. They know Minshew's obviously going to be passing the football. So, and eventually it's going to turn into, we know what you're going to do. We know this play. You do this all the time. Like it's just, But Severe, man, what were your thoughts on Hobbs' comments?
Yeah, man. First off, Nate Hobbs looked like a personal trainer from 24 Hour Fitness. I don't know why. He looked like he is in your ear like, give me one more set. But I will say this. It like as you guys kind of talked about it, like the difference between the two guys is like it was perfectly illustrated right there. Where like Aiden O'Connell, he goes about his business. He's making throws, delivering the football. Like that's what he does. It's very like cut and dry. Like not a lot of fluff on there. It's just I'm gonna throw the football. But then you hear about Gardner Minshew, and then even how he described it, right? The Aiden O'Connell thing. Aiden O'Connell was making good throws. Like, man, I forgot he could throw like that, But then when he goes to the Gardner Minshew, it's like a whole story. Oh man, Gardner did this, and he pump faked me, and yada yada. But it just tells you like this, the differences in those guys. Where like Aiden is just all business. But Gardner it's like a lot more intangibles. Is a lot of other stuff there. Maybe it's not as much of the throwing stuff. It's even like the point. Like, yeah, but I got you, bro. Like, even that point is like, that's something that like if your offense sees you like get somebody, and then you see you pointing them like, yeah, I got you. Like that's something like I see my quarterback do that. I'm like, yeah, dog. Like we out here. You know who we are. But to Mike's point, bro, like. I want the offense to start catching up to the defense, but if at any point this offense is 50-50 with our defense, I'm worried.
50-50.
If we hear that if it's like, and maybe like I say, if they have a day or two here where hey they get them, but if it's like a consistent thing where our offense is like 50-50 with our defense, I might start getting concerned because no disrespect to Aiden O'Connell or to Gardner Minshew, but they ain't Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. So if we start to see our defense, if we start to see our defense struggle over a long period of time, I'm like, yo, man.
You're right. I can't disagree with that one, bro.
Yeah, man. Hey, but you know what, man? Hey, at the end of the day, like this battle won't get interesting until we see the bullets flying. In training camp and obviously preseason, because and I think Severe, you made this point before, and I agree 100% agree. Minshew's not the type of quarterback that he's probably not going to stand out in practice. You know what I mean? His game is probably going to be better off during the game, like during preseason, where he's making those key first down runs. He's making those off schedule plays. Like that's where you see a Minshew kind of like you see him stand out a little bit more. So we'll see what it looks like in preseason. Same thing with AOC, and like I mentioned before, like the Raiders are not depending on AOC and Minshew to be the guy. They just want them to just be a piece on that offense, just do their job. And I mentioned the run game. That's going to be the biggest part about this. And just to segue, before we segue to Cadillac Williams, he's going to get into the run game and Zamir White. Make sure to clock in, like the thumbs, hit the sub, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, man. We appreciate y'all watching. Just go ahead and hit that like button.
It's free.
You guys, exactly, it's free, and you guys should be seeing this on all of our channels. So just make sure to head over there and hit the like button, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, clock in, clock out, whatever y'all want to do, man, and light the thumb, and all that good stuff, man. So we appreciate everybody coming through. But let's segue into the run game, like I was saying. And Cadillac Williams, the running back coach, was able to speak to the media. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip.
Can you talk, Hondo Carpenter with Sports Illustrated, can you please talk about Zamir, your thoughts on him? Obviously, AP and those guys have a lot of faith in him. Just want to know what you see from him that you
Rajon.
Very, very talented young man that's going into his third year, raw, but got a chance to be really good. I mean, big, physical, strong, quick. Can do a lot of things that, again, that you don't have to coach. So the potential there is incredible. Think, just a young man that got to continue to hone on the little things and continue to find his skills. But just with time and him trusting the process, trusting himself, and us coaches putting him in the right position to be successful, man, he's gonna flourish.
Man, so there you have it, man. Cadillac Williams was able to talk about Zamir White and what he brings to the table, and I feel like he kind of echoes a lot of what we heard from Luke Getsy the other day, where he spoke to Raiders media about Zamir White, and like it sounds like the Raiders are high on Zamir White, like they believe in him. What were your thoughts on what the comments from Cadillac Williams, Mike?
Man, I'm looking forward. I mean, it all sounds great, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how this offensive, this run game is going to contribute to the whole offense as a whole. Thanks. Now, we're talking a lot about Aiden O'Connell and the passing game and things like that, but there's a whole wrinkle that we're not seeing yet, and that's the run game. These offensive linemen, they want to get after it. They want to knock people over. We're going to be in 12 personnel a lot. We got two able-bodied tight ends that can block downfield. That will open things up for Aiden O'Connell down the line if we can get that running game started. And if Zamir White is that guy that Cadillac Williams is saying, all these other guys are saying, what his physique is looking like, if it's matching to his ability on the field, bro, we might have something special. I'm looking forward to seeing what this offensive, this running game is going to bring, and we're only going to be able to see that during training camp.
No, facts, man. And just to add this to on top of what Cadillac Williams is saying, what I'm saying, the reason why I'm saying that the Raiders are high on him is it's because every time his name comes up, they have a lot of good things to say. And Luke Getsy was talking about how fast he was, like how big. And I'm excited about that because, man, the last time the Raiders had a home run threat at the running back position, was it Darren McFadden?
Yeah, as our primary back, probably Darren McFadden.
It might have been Darren McFadden, maybe Murray. I don't know if you want to put Latavius Murray there.
Yeah. Murray too.
See, but nobody was thinking Murray was that dude at the beginning of the season, that 2016 season, because we had a similar kind of running back by committee. We had the young Jalen Richard. We had what was it, Washington?
DeAndre Washington.
DeAndre Washington. We had Murray as well. Those guys weren't household names, neither three of them. But when it was all said and done, we were looking at those three as a three-headed monster. So, hey, we got to see. Yeah, no, facts, 100%, man. But Severe, man, what are your thoughts on what Cadillac Williams had to say about Zamir White? Because obviously the run game is going to be a huge part of the Raiders' success on offense. Like, we're not going to lie to y'all, man. Like, at the end of the day, like,
as much as we can talk about Minshew and AOC possibly figuring it out at quarterback, the key is the run game, and that's probably why one of the biggest reasons why Lugetzi probably got the job. But what were your thoughts on Cadillac Williams, man? What do you have to say about Zamir?
Yeah, man, Pastor Cadillac was preaching from the pulpit from the book of Zamir. He's awfully raw, but I don't know how many fried bologna sandwiches and syrup sandwiches you got to eat to get an accent like that, bro. But that man is country is all get out. But yeah, I mean, I agree, man. Every time the Zamir is brought up, people have good things to say about him, and it's good to see that he's kind of honing in on the finer details of playing a running back position. Because I think that we saw how Zamir can run the ball. We saw that last year, right? He basically carried us to a win against the Chiefs. We saw early in his career, he talked about wanting to make improvements as a pass catcher. And last year, I think he was very proficient as a pass catcher. I think he's getting better as a blocker as well. So just being able to do all these other little things. And I think that's even going to come more into play with a guy like Brock Bowers, who is a guy who they're going to probably get in the backfield. Probably maybe some like 2-back sets, like with Brock Bowers and Zamir both in the backfield. And you can hand the ball off to either one of these guys. One of these guys is the lead blocker to the other. Like, you can get very creative with what you can do, especially if Zamir, gets this offense mastered. So just hearing all these positive things about Zamir, man, I'm expecting. I've been saying for a while, once he got a chance, he was going to do well. And, that was proven a little bit last year in a very small sample size. But now it's time for him to extrapolate that same production over a 17-game season. And part of that is mastering those finer details. But also, the most important thing is, the best ability is availability. So it's incumbent upon him to stay healthy as well.
Facts. He got to stay healthy. And the thing is, too, it's going to be interesting how he transitions into zone blocking scheme, because he seems like he's more of a north and south power blocking scheme type of running back. But we'll see, man. The Raiders believe in him. They didn't draft a running back until the 6th round, Dylan Lobby. But we have another clip here by Cadillac Williams as well, man. And we're going to go ahead and play this real quick.
Vinny Bonsignor with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. I know Dylan Lobby's got a long way to go as a rookie, and you guys are throwing a lot up against the wall, but we see him lining up all over the place out there in OTAs and so far in minicamp. What are your impressions of the young running back?
Man, I think he got a bright future. Like you say, I mean, he's I think his kind of his best thing that he bring each and every day. He's wise beyond his years. I mean, he shows up like a vet, but he's a rookie. I mean, he have his worker hat on and bring it each and every day, and he can take what he learned from the classroom and apply it on the field. Gonna always be in the right spots. Got really good hands, quick, explosive. Just a very cerebral player, man, that can do a lot of things, and you can line them up. So I'm excited to get an opportunity to see all those guys. But, as that running back position, I was kind of had this rule, we don't play the game in shorts. So I'm excited to see this group in pass.
Vinny Bonsignor with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. I know Dylan Lobby's got a long way to go as a rookie.
Man. So you heard it from Cadillac Williams, man. Dylan Lobby. I felt like he had a lot of. I feel like he had better things to say about Dylan Lobby over Zamir. I mean, he was complimentary about Zamir as well, but like he seems pretty excited. I know he mentioned at the end saying that they're in shorts right now, so he wants to be measured with his how he looks at Dylan Lobby, but like he's pretty excited about him, man. Mike, what did you get out of what he said about Lobby?
Man, the vibe I got from Cadillac was that he's trying to keep this a secret. Mm-hmm. He's not trying to give out his hand. He's not trying to give out what the people in the building already know about Dylan Lobby, and that is maybe this dude might be a 1-2 punch with Zamir White, in the near future. Maybe not this season, but maybe next season. What I would like to see is the training camp battle with him and Abdullah. I mean, because we already have Abdullah kind of linked in. I mean, locked in as the third down back. But I think Lobby is going to have something to say about that. I really do hope that they keep 4 running backs. They usually keep 4 or 5, but last year they had dude that we overpaid, and he stayed too long. Can't think of his name right now, but we kept him, and he was more of a special teams guy.
Bolden.
Bolden, yeah, Bolden. So
Daniels guy.
I'm hoping that they kind of interchange and kind of take turns as a third down back, down the line, because it's going to be Zamir White and there's going to be Madison. That's what it's looking like as that 1-2 punch, and then you're going to have that third down back coming in. Is it going to be Zamir White? Is it going to be a Lobby? I would like to see them kind of interchange. I want to see them both be on this team. Maybe use Abdullah in special team situations, and maybe even Lobby if you want. But when it comes to this offense being a focal point of this offense, I want to see them both included as third down backs. When it's time to kind of alternate split reps.
Yeah, man. I'm excited, man, because we hear reports out of minicamp that they're putting him in there with the first team offense. So they obviously are high on Dylan Lobby. Like he's put a big impression on the Raider coaching staff, and they're trying to mix it in a little bit, and they're having him. It's not like Zamir's not out there. It's not like Amir Abdullah's not out there, or it's not due to injury. They clearly was like, nah, we want to see you play with the starting offense. Like, we want you to get some reps because we feel like we respect the talent. But Severe, man, I know the other day you mentioned like you seen Lobby probably getting that third down back role. Is there a possibility that he can get a bigger role than that? I mean, if they're over here lining them up all over the field, and is there a possibility? Because I just mentioned that Zamir doesn't really necessarily fit that zone blocking scheme, just based off his skill set and what we've seen. Like, do you think like Lobby can possibly maybe get a bigger role than that third down back role? Maybe not out the gate, but eventually kind of get a bigger role as the season goes on.
I think he can definitely play himself into a bigger role. I think it all depends on what Zamir does, what Madison does, and what Abdullah does. If I had to choose right now, I would give the slight edge on the third down back to Lobby. That's going to be tough though, just because on third down you want an experienced guy out there, and Amir Abdullah has been doing that for a long time. So even if it's a situation where Lobby outplays him, like will your coordinator and will your position coach have the faith in you as a player, or the trust in you as a player in those big situations to put you out there, because third down is the money down. And then and I think time will tell in terms of Zamir. I think Zamir can fit in a zone blocking scheme. You think of the backs that were successful with the Broncos, right? Think of Mike Anderson. Think of Olindis Gary. Like these aren't like super nimble, agile type guys. Like they were bigger body guys who thrived in that system. And I think you look at Zamir. Zamir's like 6 feet, like 220. Like he's a big guy. So you're not really going to be able to get the full impact of him as a player until there's some contact going on. When you see a guy that big, that fast, moving at you full speed, and you actually have to tackle him, I think it's a little bit different. So right now, like these quick shift, it's very similar to the AOC Gardner Minshew thing, right? Like except the opposite, right? Right now, the smallish, shifty guy, that's the guy that looks great. Like look, he can dazzle, and look at this, look at this catch and all this stuff. But the bigger guy, once those pads come on and you have to hit somebody, and you got to for real block somebody, that's when it you know that's when the rubber kind of meets the road, especially for the running back position, kind of as he said.
Yeah. Nah, you know what? Like the way I'm looking at it is this like because I know you said he's slight edge to Lobby in that third down back roll, but we talked about the other day with Marcus. He made a great point, and it's not like we have Jalen Richard here blocking out on third down, and we all know Jalen Richard was a pretty good blitz guy. He was a good guy that he picked up the blitz pretty well at that running back position on third down. And Amir Abdullah, I don't think that's a strength of his. Maybe receiving the ball at the backfield possibly, but a guy that you can count on to pick up a blitz, he's a little inconsistent. So that's why I'm agreeing with you. If Lobby can prove at just a little bit that he can possibly be a guy to be counted on as a guy that can block up front, man, I think that's our guy at on third down. So we'll see how it shakes out. I agree, it's still early. Guys are gonna look good without no pads on, especially a guy that's quick and shifty, like Severe just said. So we'll see how it shakes out. But let's move it along, man, because part of the running game is gonna be the offensive line and how they're gonna be coached up. And James Craig was able to speak to the media, and I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip here. Let's see.
It seemed to be a perception that the Raiders needed a right tackle throughout the offseason after losing Jermaine. When you went through the film work and took a look at things, did Thayer kind of jump out at you saying, hey, we may have the answer right here?
He did. Especially, watching the latter part of last year. He really jumped out at me a lot, and he's been a good fit over there. He's been, his athleticism, he's untapped. He's still learning. He's a raw football player. He's still developing, in my opinion. He's getting better every practice. He's getting more comfortable over there. But I think he is, like I was talking about Dylan, he's natural on the left. Like, you put him on the left, he can totally do it. That's what he did in college. He played both sides. He played more left than right, but he can go both directions. You saw it last year. He can go step in for Colton when he needed to, and he's been a pleasant surprise over there at right. He's getting better too, so I've been really fired up about him.
Man, there you go. James Craig, man, talking about the offensive line, which is going to be a big part of the Raiders' offense, obviously. We got James Craig from the 49ers, former LSU offensive line coach. And he has some – he's coached with the Raiders, I believe.
Yes, he did.
You know what I mean? I think back when Tom Cable was a head coach or O-line coach, I think he was part of that room. I don't know if he was an assistant online coach back then. But that being said, he had a lot of good things to say about Thayer Munford. But he said something interesting. He said that he liked Thayer Munford on the left side compared to the right side. But he said that he could play both. He also talked about how he liked the athleticism that Thayer Munford. So they're like big on his athleticism. And Severe, we talked about like, man, Thayer Munford, I don't know if he's the quickest guy, at an offensive line, especially at right tackle, especially with these edge rushers that could be explosive. You want a guy that could at least, block up some of these players. How do you feel about some of the comments that James Craig had to say, Severe?
I think he's saying all the right things right now. We'll kind of see what happens once the bullets start really flying. I mean, we know that we already hearing that Max, who I'm assuming is lined up on that side, has been wreaking havoc all practices. So that is. But in all fairness, that is Max Crosby, right? That's probably the best pass rushing defensive end, in my opinion, the best pass rushing defensive end in the league. So he's going to do that to you, especially a guy that is
Miles?
I would say as a pure pass rusher, yeah, I'm taking Max. I'm taking Max over Miles. That maybe some homerism there, but I'm taking Max. But
I got you.
But yeah, man. But so that's kind of to be expected right there, especially since Thayer he is on that right side. He's the coach said, and I don't want to say he said in the past himself, that he's more comfortable and feels better on the left. Right now, this is kind of a move of more than anything else out of necessity, because who else were we going to really play there, right? It's either him or Delmar Glaze. So at this point, you kind of go with the veteran guy who's been out there, who's actually played the position before and seen some live NFL action. Still have questions. As much as they want to talk about his athleticism, I still have questions about his agility and his foot movement, his footwork, especially in the zone blocking scheme, where that's going to be even more accentuated. So we kind of see. I think I heard he's dropped some weight, so that is a good thing. But he's never been a guy that has been overly agile or overly quick-footed. So you start asking him to reach block and do all these things. I'm not sure if that's something that's gonna really take. But you never know. So we'll kind of have to see once the season starts.
Yeah, you gotta read between the lines with some of these pressers and interviews and players talking about the team, because they're not gonna really say too much outside of what they are. You know what I mean? They're not gonna say something controversial. The coaches are not gonna go too hard on the players. The players are not gonna go too hard on the coaches and on the team. Right. They're gonna keep it super positive. But then sometimes players or coaches can give you an insight on how they really feel about like the players and the coaches or anybody on the team, just by how they say something. But was there anything that James Craig said about Thayer Munford, Mike, that you would give that would make you? Are they 100% confident in Thayer Munford on the right side, or are they all in? Like, what are they gonna maybe get somebody else, or they feel like Andres Peat could possibly be that guy? I know AP came out and said that he's gonna be a backup left tackle and offensive guard. I think a backup offensive guard. They're not really looking at him to be a guy in competition at the right tackle spot. But how do you feel about what James Craig had to say?
Yeah, I like the depth that we do have. Like, there's a lot of versatile guys on this team, and what I think with Thayer Munford, they're going to give him a shot at right tackle. But one thing he did say was that he has the ability to play left tackle. So just in case Colton Miller isn't ready to go, with the shoulder, or maybe he goes down again, we can put Thayer Munford on the left side, and he, it's a natural position for him to do so. So you can move him over there, and then now you got Andres Peat, or maybe you throw in the rookie on the right side. Depending on what's going on with him and his development, you can put him on the right side, and things should still go smoothly. So I do like the depth. I feel like they're 100% as of right now in on Thayer Munford being on the right side. He said that his film kind of popped out at him when he was looking, and it solidified that they didn't need to get a tackle. So,
but they did.
I mean, hey, it remains to be seen, right? Like I think that's big. I think that's big praise for Thayer Munford. That's putting a lot on his. I wouldn't say pressure, but for a coach to be like, we 100% believe in what you can do. It says a lot. It says a lot to him, and maybe that helps with his confidence as well. So. We'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, man. And James Craig wasn't done there. Here's another clip by. Hold on 1 second. This is annoying. I don't know why that's doing that. My bad, y'all. I don't know if y'all heard that, but let me go ahead and play this clip here by James Craig.
Coach Hondo Carpenter with Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
When you look at this offensive line and Dylan, 2 years, been a starter the whole time, maturity to be able to move him to the right to help Thayer, would you talk about him specifically, Dylan, and his maturation and his output for 2 years?
Yeah, he's first of all, very athletic young man. Got a good, strong lower body to him. Obviously has the strength and quickness to go along with what we want. And like you just said, he has that experience with last year. I think he's grown quite a bit from last season. Obviously, I wasn't around him that much, but I could see it right now, how he learns, how he's developing, and I think that's a huge asset for him on that right side with there.
On the right side, I guess, what goes into that decision of moving over there and having him on the right side? So
yeah, you know what? Just watching him and doing what we're doing is, we run more wide zone and things like that, and he's just more natural, especially him being a center. Sometimes centers are more natural being right-handed guys than they are left-handed guys for whatever reason, and he just moves. He's just more natural moving over there, and we just like the way his footwork was better over there and things like that. The game was more natural for him over there. That's why we moved him.
Man, I think that deserves something right here. Shots fired, man. The last regime, man. What were they thinking? Moving Dylan Parham to left guard when they should have kept him at right guard, man. I don't know what they were thinking. You could hear James Craig talk about, like, when he says guys that are centers, they're more likely better on the right side. And, it's kind of interesting. Jackson Powers-Johnson, his experience was mostly at right guard. Pretty much the entire interior O-line, but mostly right guard and center. And he's going to be moved to left guard. Now, that being said, like, are you excited that Dylan Parham's going to go to the right side, or did you want him to stay on the left side? Mike.
Oh, man. I'm glad that he's moving over to the right side because he does have experience at center. Some people can argue and say he plays better center than he does guard. That's what some people were saying. And if that's the case, being a right-handed center, going to the right guard position, you are going to be better. Me personally, I played a little bit of center, but I'm left-handed. So going to left guard was a more comfortable position to me. So that is absolutely true what he said about as far as moving over. Now, all centers can play guard, but not all guards can play center. Let's just put that out there. That is a whole different beast right there. So Jackson Powers-Johnson saying that he's going to be just fine on the left side. I think he'll be all right. I'm going to throw a little bold take out here. I think that Dylan Parham is going to make a Pro Bowl this year. I think he's Pro Bowl ready at the guard position.
Okay.
And it's all going to depend on, are you protecting the quarterback? What's going on with the running back by committee? Where they stand as far as the rushing attack goes. But I think that when it's all said and done, you're going to look at Dylan Parham as one of the stronger pieces on this offensive line. And I think I'm going to put it out there. I think he's going to make a Pro Bowl this year at right guard.
Man, because he did start off he started off right off the gate as a rookie at the right side, like on PFF's top 5, top 3. He was on there every week.
Yeah,
he was playing lights out until he got moved to the left side, and you could see the decrease in his play after a while. But it is what it is, man. I think the Raiders online. I feel like James Craig, like, from what he's saying, like, he's understanding what he has in the room. For him to come out and talk about Thayer Munford and say, like, you know what, he's better on the left side. But he's all-around guy. Like, he's played on the right side too as well. But for him to come out and say that, he understands what type of player he has in front of him. Instead of, like, we get the runaround with some of these coaches where, you got the previous regime moving Dylan Parham to the left side and just acting like, oh, it's not no big deal. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, man. But we actually got another we got James Craig here. I'm going to go ahead and play this real quick. Go ahead and play this. 1 second. Let's react to this real quick.
Maybe has been confidence with him and his belief in himself.
Oh, yeah.
What have you noticed from him in terms of that, and is there a way to help somebody with that?
Going against Max Crosby every day at practice, that will help him quite a bit. You don't get a better player than him.
Let me see.
Maybe has been confidence with him and his belief in himself.
Oh, yeah.
What have you noticed from him in terms of that, and is there a way to help somebody with that?
Going against Max Crosby every day at practice, that will help him quite a bit. you don't get a better player than him. So that's going to it's going to lead into his confidence, and he is getting confident by going against him every day. Obviously, we're not full speed and doing all that stuff, and Max can have his way with just about anybody in the league, in my opinion. But going against him every day is really developing and shaping up his confidence.
Can that work both ways, though? Like, I mean, that could work both ways, though, right? I mean, if you're struggling, and a lot of people struggle with Max Crosby, like,
yeah,
it could impact you, right? Like, how do you balance that part?
Just get little wins and capitalize on the wins, and just keep, point those out to him when he does win, and give him that confidence and show it to him, and show him that the technique works, and show him and keep proving it to him. You got to keep proving it to him and showing him, and keep working with it. You got to keep it ingraining it in his head. Okay, and obviously, like in a game scenario, if a guy does struggle, you got to help him out. You got, give him a rope, and let him get out, and figure out a way to help the young man if he is struggling, and give him that confidence. You got to find a way to give guys confidence in some way, aspect or another.
So I'm assuming that he's talking about.
He's talking about Mumford.
He's talking about
Thayer.
Mumford.
Yeah, he's talking about Thayer.
Yeah. Severe. So what do you think? What Craig was talking about? How him going against Max Crosby and like him getting better from playing against Max. Like, do you think a player can get better if they're going against someone who's tremendously talented at their position and they could easily dominate them, or can it go the other way where, man, like, even the guy that the guy that was asking the question, he was like, hey man, like, it can possibly like hurt the player a little bit. Like if you're going against a guy like Max Crosby and he's constantly going to beat you. What is it? Can it benefit or can it hurt the player? Especially,
I think that all depends on the player. I think it depends on the player. There's to take it a little bit outside of football, like in the Kendrick versus Drake beef, right? Kendrick had a song called 616 in LA. And one of the lines that stuck out the most to me is that he said, there's opportunity when dealing with loss. I discover myself when I fall short. And basically, if you're always succeeding, then you've never really pushed your boundaries. You don't know how far you can go or what you can do, because all you've known is success. That means you've never pushed yourself to your limits. If you've never failed, that means you've never really been outside of your comfort zone. So I think that, like there's a saying that failure isn't the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success. So you're going to fail. Like perfect example, we look at Michael Mayer last year, right? Like Michael Mayer got destroyed by Max Crosby. Like everybody was talking about it. I'm sure he was embarrassed. I'm sure that that probably hurt his pride, hurt his ego. But he didn't like shrink into a corner. You don't want guys that get beat and then shrink. You want guys that get beat, take it personal, and say, you know what, never again. And that's kind of the attitude you want out of a guy like there. Because if he can't handle his teammate beating him, then how is he going to handle, Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa or somebody like that beating him, right? Is he going to shrink in those moments? So I think that, like I said, man, I know it's kind of a cop-out answer, but it really all depends on the player. So if you've evaluated the player correctly, you've identified the kind of person he is, then those kind of losses, that builds character. And if you can get a win against a Max Crosby, like the confidence that you have knowing that if I can beat Max Crosby, I can beat anybody in the league. And I think that's what they're hoping he kind of takes from it.
Yeah, and the thing is too, you could understand like why teams like really evaluate a player, they look at everything.
Yeah,
they look at what he does on a football field. They look at his physical skill set, but also his mentality. But for some reason, the year that Leatherwood got drafted, the Raiders kind of forgot about that. Like, I don't know what happened.
Man, I'm not gonna get into that, man. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna get that can of worms, bro.
Man.
I had to do it, man. I had to do it.
Man.
But Mike, man, like, how do you feel, man? What is your 2 cents on this conversation about, Thayer Munford going against Max Crosby? Like, can it go the other way where, obviously you're going against Max and Max is just destroying you? Could hurt a player's confidence to the point where, he's not going to be the same? I just said Alex Leatherwood, but do you think a Thayer Munford is a Alex Leatherwood? Do you think he's that type of player mentally? Is he strong enough? Can he be that player at right tackle?
Let's compare the two and their road up to this point. Alex Leatherwood, he was considered one of the best offensive linemen in the country at the University of Alabama. Did he necessarily see the adversity early on? Right? No, probably not. Not at Alabama, right? He probably didn't struggle much. Came to the NFL and struggled. Exposed what type of person he is. Let's go look at Thayer Munford starting in college, right? Severe, correct me if I'm wrong. He had a higher stock as was it a guard at some point? But he came out and got moved over to tackle, and then his stock dropped just a little bit. He got dropped to the 7th round, but if he would have came out a year earlier, he would have been like a 2nd, 3rd round guy. And that controversy, that adversity kind of builds character. Like, oh man, I was looking at 2nd round money. I was looking at 3rd round money. Now I'm struggling to even make a football team. And coming into the Raiders, bringing that mentality, that fight all the time mentality. I think that Munford can actually, he can benefit from this. I think that he does respond well to getting beat up a little bit by Max Crosby. I think he has what it takes, guts wise and fortitude wise, to get over that and make things happen. Just based on his path leading up to this point. Now, compare it to Leatherwood. Leatherwood, I don't know what his background is, but this is a guy that didn't seem like he was really into football. You could tell that from the press conferences. Like he seemed real aloof. He seemed like he'd rather watch anime. Nothing wrong with anime, but he would rather sit and watch TV and anime and be at Comic-Con rather than, dig in and go and play the game and sharpen his craft. Thayer Munford's not that dude. So, in saying all that, I think it's going to build him up, and I think he has the right mentality to kind of take all of it in and take his lumps in and learn from it.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. And you made a good point. Like they way different, two different players, different ways that they got to the league. Obviously, Leatherwood got overdrafted in the 1st round.
That's not his fault either.
Yeah, it's not his fault, but it is what it is, man. But Munford, hopefully, he is that guy, and hopefully, a guy like Max Crosby makes him into a great player or a pretty good player. And I'm hoping the same for that cornerback room, because they're going against Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. You know what I mean? They're going against these offensive weapons on offense, these receivers. Hopefully that makes the cornerback room that much better. So we'll see, man. Hopefully iron sharpens iron. But let's end it on a high note, man. I talked about it earlier on the show. My guy, Rob Ryan, man. This dude is a Raider. I don't care where he coached at, where he was at where he left. He probably took a long little vacation, but he's always been a Raider. If you know, you know. So let me go ahead and play a clip out of Rob Ryan's presser.
Coach, you mentioned Marcus Epps a couple times. How big was he for the development of Trayvon Merrick as well?
Oh, amazing. Trayvon is the most talented safety in football. Now, he's just got to, bring it, and he's getting better each time. Now he's got a number change. Man, is he good now. But sometimes those number changes really change. But Epps has been great for him. Like, how'd that Philadelphia defense look without Epps? Oops, when you take a guy like that, a guy who knows the game, slows the game down for everybody, you take him away from the defense, it's a hard thing. The same thing happened to me in New Orleans when we went from, being great to horrible. But when we lost, Malcolm Jenkins. But he's that impactful. But Trayvon is, sky's the limit for him. We know how talented he is. But Epps is just that guy, that gritty guy, the gym rat, that makes everybody better.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, we literally could have just played the whole presser for Rob Ryan because that was fire, man.
Ryan got me wanting to bet some money on the Raiders, man. I'm like, damn,
for real, right?
man. And I mentioned earlier he talked about Max Crosby being the best player he's seen in the last 30 years. You just heard him talk about Marcus Epps and Trayvon Moehrig. You know what I mean? That safety room, which is kind of underrated. We're not really talking about the safety room like that because you know why? It's not a problem right now. It's not an issue. Like they did their job. Can Moehrig take that? I'm gonna pass this to Mike, man. Can Moehrig take that next step this season? Can he turn into that playmaker? Because he hasn't. Don't get me wrong. Like I feel like he played pretty well last season. I think he pretty well. But can he take that next step at that safety position where he's a playmaker, or maybe that's just not his game? He's just a solid player. He's not gonna make a lot of mistakes. Will he make that next step next season?
Oh, man. I think it's a little bit of both of what you said. I think that he will make a lot more plays this season than he's done in years past, partially because it's a money year. There's some money on the line this year. So I think he will make a lot more plays this year. But are we looking at, leading the league in interceptions and things like that from Merrick? I don't think that's the case. I was surprised to see what he said about Epps, and I think a lot of people should really start giving Epps his flowers because what people are saying automatically right now, we got 30 some odd million in cap space. Justin Simmons is out there. Let's bring in Justin Simmons. We don't need Justin Simmons.
Right.
We don't need Justin Simmons. What we do have right now is two guys that are iron sharpening iron. I guess that's the theme of the night, right? We've been talking about that this whole episode, iron sharpening iron. We saw that with Merrick at the beginning of the season where Severe, me and you were talking at the beginning of the season, we were ready to can Merrick. It was time to go. It was time to go for him. And as the season progressed, he got better, and I think it was because of the presence of Epps. Now, he said about that Eagles defense from, their Super Bowl year in comparison to last year wasn't the same. And it's because you took a strong guy, that nucleus, arguably, of that defense, and he's gone now. And now he's not the big stat maker. He's not the big stat guy, but he was that nucleus, maybe even a green dot or just the heart and leader of that defense. And you remove that will break a team, and we got somebody special like that in Epps, and we should be giving him a lot more flowers. And he played a big part on not the development, but maybe just the confidence in Merrick. And he should be getting some more credit for that as well. So Merrick, he could have a career year. Now is it going to be that big, going to have that big season like, Pro Bowl type of year? I don't think so, but I think he'll do his job, and I think he'll do it well.
Yeah, and it's funny too about Epps is that last offseason we were hearing how close and Merrick got in that safety room. They were able to, you could tell like he took him under his wing, and obviously Epps being a veteran and a guy like Merrick, he was going into his second, third year in the league, but it was his second year in that defense. And now it's going to be his third year in this defense. And when you start playing in the same system, it's understandably, it makes sense for players to play a whole lot faster. So we'll see if Merrick could take that next step and start just playing, not thinking, but just out there just playing and see if he could make a play on the ball. But Severe, man, what were your thoughts on Rob Ryan, man? Because I know you probably could say a lot about the entire presser that he had, but what were your thoughts on the comments he had about Epps and Moehrig and all that good stuff?
Yeah, man, I think that's good, man. I think there was a little bit of hyperbole there. I wouldn't put Merrick. I wouldn't put him over, Jesse Bates. I might not even put him over Javon Holland. So there's a few guys out there who I think are more talented, but I just think that Trayvon, he still has a whole bunch of untapped potential, and I think that we're starting to see that potential kind of come to the surface, and I think Marcus Epps has a lot to do with that. you think about the safety position, and like the safety is there are basically two people on the football field that see the entire field, and they're the safeties and the quarterback. Those are the guys that see everything, right? Everybody else just essentially sees what's in front of them. Those two positions are behind everybody. They see the entire field, and so like the importance of your safety cannot be understated. That a lot of times that they're guys that's just making sure that there are no coverage busts out there, that they're calling those things out. Like they have to be excellent communicators, and I think like we don't look at that piece of that position enough. We only see like interceptions, or as the guy get this, does he have a crazy PBU, or does he make a touchdown saving tackle? But all the stuff that goes into making sure your defense is basically on schedule, everybody is lined up right, like all that stuff is extremely important, and that's where Marcus Epps is extremely good. And as Rob Ryan alluded to, like look at the difference in that Eagles defense when he wasn't there as opposed to when he was there. He's a guy that started every game for a team that went to the Super Bowl, and they were a good defensive team, and a team that some people thought if not for a controversial call should have won the Super Bowl. So, and as soon as you remove that guy from that team, then they're getting blown out by Tampa Bay in the playoffs, right? So, essentially that's how important that position is. So, I'm hoping Trevon. I'm hoping we hang on to Marcus. I'm hoping Trevon takes that next step, because I think those guys will be vital, especially if we have a young guy opposite Jack Jones. I think it's going to be even more important to have two vet guys back there who are great communicators that can kind of make sure that whoever is opposite of Jack Jones is all those guys are on the same page.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited, and I think Javon Holland I think he was drafted right before Merrick, and the thing is, going into the draft, everybody was ranking Morrig as kind of like the number one safety on the board. So you were kind of
except
surprised.
Me. I had Javon. I had Richie Grant above Javon Holland. I'm above both of them actually. Richie Grant, he's a good player. He's a good player, but
where is he playing for? What team is he playing for right now?
I want to say he's the Jaguars. I want to say I forgot where. I think the Jaguars. I want to say the Jaguars.
And I think one of the reasons why like Rob Ryan was talking about Morrig like that, because it's just how talented he is. The fact that they're able to he could play that deep safety position, but also come down and be a cover guy. What I mean? Near the line
that's what he did at TCU. Yeah, he did that at TCU a lot.
His versatility, and I think that's what was big about Morrig coming out, and I think it's showing up a little bit with the Raiders. And now, like Mike said, man, contract year. If it's contract year, man, we know what players do. So hopefully it means that he's making a whole lot of plays next season. So we'll see, man. But yeah, that wraps up minicamp. Our thoughts on minicamp, man. Hey, man, we're excited. Between now and man, it's gonna die down a little bit. I mean, I'm not sure if the Raiders are gonna make any moves between now and training camp, possibly corner, just because we've seen some interest in Stevie Nelson. We've seen that report, so that kind of confirms okay, they're looking at the veteran cornerback market. But who knows at this point? So it's gonna be pretty slow from here on out, from now until training camp. But yeah, man, we're pretty excited. Obviously, there's one more day or one more minicamp day, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, man, we're pretty excited about the team, where they're headed, the coaches, Rob Ryan, man. I think, and we don't have that clip, but Rob Ryan was talking about. I don't know, man. I think AP should hire him as his PR guy, man, because the way he was talking about AP.
Yeah.
I mean,
either AP or Patrick Graham, man, because what he was talking about both those guys, man.
Like they were the best coaches in the NFL. Like he was talking about.
He said AP was the best. He said Big G was too.
He said that. Yeah, and man, that was crazy. I mean, I've always said that we have the best staff in the league. I still believe that.
Yeah. So, right now. Especially right now, man. Especially right now. And it's what like we give Josh McDaniels a lot of crap, man, but Patrick Graham, excellent hire. Allowing Patrick Graham to bring on Antonio Pierce, I think that was excellent as well. So I mean, that was even though it doesn't make up for all the other disastrous things he did, especially not getting CJ Stroud. But he gave us our head coach. Hopefully for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, thanks, McDaniels. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. If you watching this,
that's all you get. Besides that, you get nothing but dust.
Nah, man, I can't even. Have you guys, on this, like on The Simpsons, there's an episode with the critic on there, and he's talking to like Rainier Wolfcastle, like basically like the Arnold Schwarzenegger character, and the guy's like how do you sleep at night? He's like, on a big pile of money with many beautiful women, and that's basically Josh McDaniels. Like Raider fans, like how do you live with yourself? Josh McDaniels like, well, I got like like $80 million for you.
Yeah, he's getting paid.
I'm living all right. I'm living cool.
Yeah.
He's getting paid.
So
I think he's getting paid, and I think his best bet to coming back to the league possibly is just Bill Belichick. Maybe gets hired next year as a head coach, possibly. Who knows? At age 70 something, you know what I mean? He's kind of getting up there. But look at Pete Carroll, man. He was coaching. Like how old was Pete Carroll when he got fired this year? I think he was 75. Man,
we just got let go right now. Yeah,
and had a whole lot of energy too. It's not like he had no energy, man. He had a whole lot of energy, man. But yeah, man, it's that time, y'all. It's that time of the week, man. It's comments of the week, man. Man, we appreciate the comments. Y'all heard our call for action. Y'all left comments for all of us, man. We appreciate it. We appreciate y'all. And a show of our appreciation, we're gonna go over some of the comments that we seen last week. Good, bad, the ugly, all that good stuff, man. And hey, all the comments, I'm gonna say this, all the comments are good. If we have a difference in opinion, it's just a difference in opinion. We're not taking it, none of this stuff personal, but we appreciate everybody. So I'm gonna start with this first comment here. Let's see. So we got DeMario Mac 6745, man. Appreciate you, my guy, coming through. You know, the funny thing is, this is like the YouTube handle, but like when you guys are in the chat, it's a different name. So like, I would suggest, man, if y'all are YouTube savvy, you don't have to be, but it's pretty simple. Just go in there and just give your handle a name, because this one is not that bad. There's some other handles where it's like 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's just like, man, come on, man. Like, have some respect for yourself. Like, give yourself a name, sir.
Yeah, man. I'll let Devontae give you a name. It'll be
oh yeah,
it'll be D-Man.
D-Man.
The businessman. He was his businessman. That's hilarious, man. Yeah. Oh man, but he said, okay, so Mac 6745, man, we're gonna say that, man. So glad AP has Marvin Lewis as his mentor. Coaching staff looks to be solid. Hopefully we can establish something we've had in a long time, and that's stability. I believe stability is one of the key factors in establishing a winning organization. Let's go Raiders, man. Facts, 100%, man. I agree with this, man, because that's one of the things that we've talked about. Why the Raiders haven't been successful, why have they been losing for so long, is because they've constantly had new head coaches, players just coming in and out. We understand that, you know, it's a business, but there's no reason why your first round pick is getting cut within his first rookie contract, or is he's getting released, or at least you would at least want some of the first rounders that you drafted to be extended to the second contract. Like, come on, like that's part of, you know, building a successful organization, and and pretty much what Mac is trying to say right here: stability, and building that culture, and building that locker room, and we have that right now with Max Crosby leading the way, you know. So I agree 100%, man. I think. I believe in AP, man. In AP, we trust, man. And Marvin Lewis was a great hire, having all that experience, and not just Marvin Lewis. Joe Philbin was a great hire. You know what I mean? We got Rob Ryan right there, a whole lot of experience. Obviously, he was a holdover previous from the regime, but like he's obviously a good addition to that room with a whole lot of experience. We could keep going and going with this coaching staff. I would say the only issue I have with the coaching staff is, or I want to say issue is like the question mark is, you guys heard this before, Lou Getsy, and even the QB coach. I'm not gonna lie, even the QB coach, because when you looked into the QB coach, it's not like he had a track record for success. But then he was I think he was coaching up some of the the college prospects like Caleb Williams. I heard that he was kind of coaching them up a little bit, which is okay. All right, that's cool. They trust you enough to put you up there, number 1 draft pick. Okay, I like that, but we'll see. That's probably one of the biggest question marks I have is that offensive staff a little bit, like, but specifically the offensive coordinator and QB coach. But for the most part, man, I like what I'm seeing. But Mac, man, I appreciate the comment. Keep leaving comments, everybody. Hey, y'all know what it is, man. Like, if you guys leave a comment, you guys have a chance to have your comment put on the screen, and we're gonna have a conversation. But the next one's gonna be Big Mike Raider, man. Resplendent Raider, man. And he says, hey, man, the theme of the show. Yeah. Iron sharpens iron. You're absolutely right. If I was the defense in practice, I would make life hell for the line and QB. Why? Because it'll make the offense a better unit. When it's game day, we'll be battle tested, so to speak, and vice versa. If I'm the offense, I'm trying to crush the defense and put them in uncomfortable situations with our skill position players. Man, what are your thoughts?
What was that Resplendent Raider? Man, thanks for the comment. We going full circle with your comment. We pretty much talked about that earlier with, the defense pretty much giving the offense fits. Now, as far as the offense goes, they're struggling right now. Is that because the defense is giving them fits, or is it AOC, Minshew, they're just not grasping the offense as fast as you would like? We don't know. But that's what you would want to see from the defensive perspective, is giving the offense nothing but hell, like you said, right? Just constantly giving them that full on that treatment to sharpen them up. And maybe I was a little bit hyperbolic when I said 50-50, right? Shout out to the 50-50, like, but
shout out 50-50.
Hey, the goal is to get as close to 50-50 as possible, right? That's kind of what you're trying to get to, and at some point you would hope that this offense catches up to what the defense does just a little bit. The defense is going to get better. You're not going to catch up to it, but what you hope is that you kind of close the gap just a little bit. So you said it perfectly, man. And I don't know if you're a fortune teller, but you stated right along the theme of the show, iron sharpening iron. And that's what we're hoping for this season.
Facts, man. Great comment. Appreciate you, Resplendent Raider, man. Keep commenting. And like I said, man, anybody wants to have their comment on the screen and we react to it, just leave a comment, man. Let us know in the comment section, man. And obviously the chat, we'll be in the chat too as well and responding. But another way, people watching the replay, make sure to leave a comment. And we want to hear your thoughts, man, at the end of the day. Like, we want to hear from y'all. Like, do y'all agree? Y'all disagree? Let us know what y'all thoughts on the Raiders, how the season's gonna go, and all that good stuff. But we're not done yet, man. We got one last comment, and we're gonna leave it for the Severe Raider. Safe B Layer, man. Appreciate you, man. He says
right there, man.
He calls out Severe, man. He's like, Severe, did the Raiders draft a tight end or a playmaker? You brought up wiggle. None of those tight ends you mentioned have more wiggle. They might have, I don't know why wiggle sounds funny right now. They might have better route running, but we haven't seen Brock in the pros. Did you look at the college film of the other tight end? So I think he's speaking to, Severe's take on Brock Bowers and some of the things that he feels like he can get better at. But Severe, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, so I think he's talking about when I mentioned the tight ends that I saw in the past. So I think, shout out to Say Blair. I think Say Blair kind of missed the boat on this one, because the reason I brought up those tight ends and I talked about Wiggle was in relation to Brock Bowers' route running. So he essentially just conceded the point that all these tight ends were better at route running. And that was my entire point, is that Brock Bowers is a very incomplete as a route runner, right? He's not a guy, and maybe I shouldn't. Maybe people keep getting stuck on the word wiggle. He's not savvy in his routes. He doesn't have a lot of east west. He's more north south, northwest. I mean, northeast. That kind of stuff. He's good going diagonal, going straight. Ask him to go in 90-degree angles, or come back. Like, he's not great at that stuff. He's not good at, hey, I'm gonna go this way. Psych, I'm coming back this way. East and west type stuff. He's not good at that stuff. And I brought up those other guys. Those guys. Some of the guys. I think I brought up Antonio Gates. I brought up Tony Gonzalez. I did watch those guys, but also those guys were also high level basketball players. And one thing we've noticed about guys who have a history of being high level basketball players, those guys are usually good route runners. You think about Jacoby, you think about Devontae. I think even the tight end from the Cardinals, I think Trey McBride is his name. I think I want to say he has he was a high level basketball player. Same thing with Michael Mayer. He was a high level basketball player. So all these guys play basketball at some point. Generally, if they're athletes, but usually guys who are high level basketball players or guys that have that spatial awareness and that ability and those movement skills. And that's not movement skills I've seen out of Brock Bowers. Now, we haven't seen him in the pros. So if we're going to say we haven't seen him in the pros, then I don't want you to bring up anything he did in college. Don't say he did this in college. Don't say he won this award in college. He put up this many yards in college, because he hasn't done it in the pros. See, that same argument works both ways. So I'm willing to take a wait and see approach. But what I'm doing is I am projecting what I saw him do in college to the pros. And what I saw him do in college was not run really any kind of east-west stuff. I saw him catch a lot of drag routes, a lot of bubble screens. He would run some longer routes. I would see them isolate him on one side of the field and give him like basically two-way goals where they put a safety or a DB in the bind, where he had basically a whole one side of the field to work with, so the guy essentially couldn't be right. I saw a lot of that stuff, a lot of stuff where he was schemed open, but not a lot of stuff where he generated separation with the route, which is not what I saw out of Michael Mayer. So it's not a situation where I'm saying, I'm just being critical to be critical. I've seen Michael Mayer do those things. I've seen Michael Mayer, create separation on the route. I've seen Michael Mayer, create separation off the break and off of the release. I haven't seen Brock Bowers do that, at least not on a consistent basis. But what I will say is that, I've heard that in camp, he has been running good routes. So, maybe that's just something that Georgia didn't allow him to do, or they elected to use his skill set in a different way. But we'll see. But from what I saw, the tape study I did, I didn't see that level of route running. But like I said, as you said, we'll see when he gets to the pros.
Yeah, we'll see when he gets to the pros, which would be training camp and preseason is going to be our first look at him. I mean, do you think that he's going to play a little bit in preseason? Do you think some of these early draft picks, do you think of Jackson Powers Johnson, who's probably projected to be a starter on the offensive line, do you think he's going to be playing in preseason?
Maybe not Jackson Powers Johnson. Maybe people not on the line, because I think offensive line, especially in the zone system, it's you want those guys to work in a unit. And so ideally you don't want to take one guy out of that unit and stick him with a bunch of other guys, because it's very important that those guys kind of move on the string. And so it might not be as much value for a guy like Jackson Powers Johnson to do it. They may still do it, but I don't think it's as much value as it is for a skill position player to go out there and be matched up against other skill position players.
Okay. I mean, we'll see, man. We do know that the quarterbacks are going to be playing. It's gonna go down to the wire. So
They should be
that's what we do know, man. But we gotta. Hey, this was a great show. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, and at this point, clock out. Hit that like button, like the thumb, hit the sub, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff, man. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. It's been a great show. Make sure. Hey, man, that's all we're asking, man. Like Mike said earlier, man, it's free. It's free. You don't. All you got to do is just hit that like button, man. Subscribe. You're gonna see this on all our channels, so you want to make sure you do it to all of our channels if you can. But any last thoughts, Mike? You know what I mean? Let the people know what they can look forward to as far as the Raiders, yourself, and all that good stuff, man. Where they can find you.
Yep, you can find me Big Mike Raider all across the board, wherever you know, whether you watch it, your YouTube on TV, whether you watch it on your phone, whether you watch it on a projector, whether you watch it, you know, in your Tesla, you can find me at Big Mike Raider. That's where you will find me. And I want to say, you guys, all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. Enjoy your Sunday.
Yes.
Yes, definitely enjoy that. That day is your day. So enjoy that. And rest in peace to the logo, Jerry West. We were talking about basketball earlier, and it was immediately on my mind. Didn't get a chance to say it, but definitely a legend, a Laker legend, an NBA legend. He's the logo, and I hope they never change that. Rest in peace to Jerry West.
Yeah, no, facts. Rest in peace to Jerry West, man. The architect to the early dynasty Lakers, as far as like the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, and obviously the Warriors, and you know, he obviously had a tremendous amount of success as a player in the NBA, man. So yeah, rest in peace to Jerry West, man. But Severe, man, let the people know where they can find you, what they can look forward to, all that good stuff, and anything about the Raiders that you want to talk about, you can if you want to, but let them know where they can find you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You guys know what it is. It's the Severe Raider. Basically, like Mike said, all across the board, YouTube, IG, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever, all across the board. So holla at me. Excuse me, man, my voice going out. I got some stuff working out. I'm working on some videos. Hoping to drop those soon, man. Right now, doing that Cadillac Williams thing done mess my voice all up. Can't even talk, man. But
man, I think the Jerry West news, man, got him choked up. Man.
Exactly, man. I'm choking up thinking about Jerry West, man. But yeah, man, I got some stuff I'm working on, man. Also got some lives I'm probably going to be doing, trying to figure out the schedule. Fitting that in with my son's practices, and I'm getting him a trainer and all that stuff. So trying to figure it in, but we're going to make that happen. But like Mike said, man, R.I.P. to Jerry West, man. One of the greatest, ever. Guy that's going to be soon to be inducted in the Basketball Hall of Fame, not only as a player but as an executive or a contributor as well. There's only been one other person that went in as a player and non-player, and that's Lenny Wilkins, who went in as a player as a coach. So he is going to be in rarefied air, man, and he's one of the best GMs of all time, regardless of sports, man. So if only the Raiders could find their Jerry West, man, we would be in great hands.
Man, I think that's the missing ingredient, man. I think that's the ingredient.
Yeah.
I think we need to have that exec, man. That's above a GM, above the head coach, and kind of gives that separation from the team from Mark Davis. Mark Davis gets to enjoy the team and run the team, but he doesn't have to make all the. Even though he says he doesn't know a lot about football and he doesn't make the football decisions, he kind of does. If you're firing the coaches, if you're hiring the coaches, if you're that's a whole different conversation for another day. But, hey, look, if y'all know, man. If y'all can see it on the screen, Pharaoh NFL, PHAROAH NFL, like you see it on the screen. You can find me all over social media with that name, as well as YouTube, man. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. I'm right around the corner from 5,000, man. So I'm trying to get to that big number, man. So if y'all
get them there, man.
Do me a favor, man. I'm trying to get to that big number, man. But I appreciate the support. Look, what to look forward to, man. Look, We 50-50 show every Mondays. We've been consistent, y'all. I'm hoping you guys notice. Every Monday we got the 50-50 show, and obviously every Thursday we drop this around the Shield, man. Hey, man, look, I'm telling you right now, man. Make you guys need to tune in. In order to tune in, you got to make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate the support. Hey, man, any last thoughts, man? Anything that you want to say to Raider Nation? I know we're excited about the NFL season right now. It's gonna be pretty quiet until training camp. But any last thoughts, man?
Nah, that's it, man.
That's it.
Yeah,
all right, man.
I will say this. My guy Rob Ryan talked about people changing their numbers. The last Raider I know that changed their number was Josh Jacobs. So let's just hope that.
Oh no!
Hey, come on, man. We gotta leave it on a positive note, man. A real positive note.
Man. It's all bad because AOC, Trevon Merrick, and Zamir White all changed their number, man. So
yeah,
man. But
yeah, maybe Josh Jacobs was the exception. He's gonna be the exception.
Possibly.
He's gonna be the exception. But hey, look, man, we appreciate everybody coming through, man. Hey, look, like I said, make sure to clack out, like the thumb, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Till next time, man. We'll see y'all soon. All right. Peace.
Peace.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.